along with that comes kind of information overload. So while we bring all these hotel options to travelers, they don't want to see all their options. They want us to kind of smartly select which ones are most relevant or which ones we think they would prefer so that they're not sifting through hundreds of options.
I'm Chika Eloy, and this is a conversation designed for BCD people with BCD people. On this show, we're running through the diverse cultures of talent at BCD Travel, and we're showcasing our most confident self-colleagues. So come on, let's go have some fun as we explore the different functions, spaces, faces, and the complexities across our world of BCD.
Well, we are back at another week of a World of BCD podcast, and I have a special guest joining. So you're in Texas, Natasha Sanchez, who is the Senior Manager of Client Communications at BCD. Natasha, let me give you the microphone. Tell us, who are you? What do you do? What's your story at BCD?
Sure. Thanks for having me. Real quickly, Senior Manager on the Global Product Marketing team. So I sit in the Product Planning and Development team under Yanis Karmas and his group, managing client communications and marketing operations that touch the team and keep things running smoothly.
So when you say product marketing and client communications, maybe just dive in a little bit deeper. What does product marketing and client, like you're the touch point between the products that we have and our clients? How does that work?
We're made up of a group of subject matter experts that know their specific products, and I sit in the middle of the group and help connect dots and make sure we're all telling a similar story so we look like we're all part of the same family, which we are. And a lot of the communications, they of course touch the clients through Pardot emails and through presentations that account managers and sales teams will take to the clients, but also, like I said, the account managers and sales teams are also our customers. We want to make sure that they stay up to date on our latest product updates, as well as the global marketing team. They're the ones going out and sharing our message across the blog, across social media. So we also want to keep them informed with what's going on across all of our products at BCD.
No, that's fascinating, Natasha, and it sounds like you've got your hands in a number of honeypots there, right? What was your background like growing up? Did you always want to be in marketing? Like, how did you join BCD on that team?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. My background is in graphic design. I've always had a passion for art. And so I went to school and majored in graphic design, and that's what got me into the travel world. I eventually worked at Sabre, which I know a lot of folks listening know that company, and learned the travel business, which is, as we all know, a very complex business, and spent 10 years there. So from that experience, I was able to land a job here at BCD. During that time, when I was designing for Sabre, I was curious about the business decisions that were made before projects got to me. So what was the message that was going to go on a trade show booth, or why this particular collateral piece was calling out these messages to this audience. So I went back and got my MBA, and from there really jumped into the marketing world.
An MBA graphic artist that is sitting amongst our product marketing team. Fantastic. And so, Natasha, I want to, if with your permission, if we could pull back the curtain a little bit further here. Like, we hear Yanis's name a lot, and he's on a lot of the senior calls explaining what is happening, and you say that you're one of the touch points for both the internal and external clients. Like, what is the strategy of your team right now? I'm sure that many of our listeners have heard about the sources that are running around, the different sources. We've actually interviewed somebody about sources, but when it comes to Heather and Yanis and yourself, what are some of the big things that you've got going right now that we as a company can be really excited about?
Oh, yes. Lots of fun stuff. You, I'm sure, saw the different sources, the rollout of our platforms. And so that's exciting because that gives our customers a chance to understand that there's a lot of technology that goes on behind the scenes with what we do, whether that's serving the traveler or serving the corporate travel manager. And so that's where the sources came in. But now we're going to flesh that out even more and discuss what that means in a digital world. We all know that there's more digital experiences. The end traveler is needing to have their itinerary available on their phone, but also accessible when they're in front of their laptop. Travel managers want to be able to access the data quickly. So there's a lot going on with our digital story. So we're going to start pulling in more of the traveler profile information so we can serve up more relevant information to them. And at the same time, we're going to pull together different pieces of a trip so that we can understand what all is affected when there's a disruption, what we can do to help. So a lot of technology and development goes on to make that run smoothly. And so there's a lot of investment happening, and that's going to be a big story for us.
And you are one of the master storytellers of that story.
Right, that's right. Our whole group, Heather, you'll see her name and her face a lot. So she's kind of the one going on tour, sharing our story, but we're all excited to explain how all these products work together, and they help that whether it's a traveler or the travel manager, it just helps their experience.
And I think that as an individual contributor that is not on your team, do you have like an elevator speech that we can start to repeat as we run into random folks when they say, you know, what's new at BCD? And we think, you know, well, I'm in HR, or I'm in finance, or I'm in, you know, whatever function I'm in. But there's this really cool department called product marketing. And then ready, set, here's the speech that Natasha would give us.
Sure. With BCD and the solutions we offer our customers, we have grouped them and they're available to the different customers, whether that's a traveler, a travel manager, a technology partner of ours, whoever it may be. They are grouped into different platforms that face those different customer segments. And so that gives whoever you are as a BCD partner or customer the ability to work efficiently, serve your customers more efficiently, and be more helpful to them. So that's the beauty of the platform approach, and that's a lot of what we're doing here in the Global Product Marketing Group.
No, that's very, very helpful, and I think that's something that all of us can repeat because, yeah, it makes it simple. It's a simple message that we can continue to give. And, hey, you want to know more? Email Natasha Sanchez at bcdtravel.com. Mm-hmm. So day-to-day now, for you and your team, what do you feel is one of the most heavy challenges that weighs on your shoulders each day? What's some of the stuff you're really trying to bust through to make sure that, you know, we as a company are running smoother tomorrow?
Yeah, one of the challenges, I mean, as you're hearing me talk, is simplifying our message. We do serve a lot of customers. We have a lot of different products that span across different types of services, whether that's while you're in trip or planning for trips or wanting to make sure you're saving the company money. There's just so many different pieces to what we offer, and simplifying that in a way that not only resonates with internally so that they can tell the story, but then resonates with the customer also. It's not an easy task. So that's something that we all learn every day, how to kind of perfect that story, but that's a big challenge for us. Another one is we're moving so fast. So while things are so complex, they're also constantly changing. And so you probably see a lot, our folks at BC see a lot of communications from the product marketing team, and that's our way of keeping everyone up to date. But we know it's a lot of information too. So trying to find that way to get our messages out without getting lost in the noise and helping internal customers know what this means and how this benefits the customer. It's not easy. So it's all about simplifying and cutting through the noise.
Right, making our smart people look even smarter because they're credible with the right knowledge, right?
That's right.
So you said that you've done a lot in the travel industry, and I'm sure in the seat that you sit in now that you're kind of surveying the landscape for the future and knowing that it's changing so quickly. Do you have any insights that you would love to share with our listeners about, you know, what's coming in the future? What do we need to be most prepared about or worried about?
I think a lot of that has to do with what the traveler's expecting. We're all consumers ourselves. We're all travelers. But we realize that we are getting more and more impatient. So we want our information quickly, and we want it from whatever device that we have in front of us. BCD with TripSource, we're able to do that, but there's a lot of demands from the traveler, and the travel manager sees it, and we see it. So it's just trying to keep up with technology. That's exciting too.
And I think that you're not the only function that's struggling with that too. I mean, on the HR side, we've got Peakon now that's running through the organization with an app. We've got LinkedIn Learning now. We're trying to give learning device. We're just about to start this year. I'm plugging my own programs here too, Natasha. We're about to start mobile coaching at BCD Travel. So
nice.
Technology is getting crazy. And like you said, every consumer wants it now or yesterday in front of me on whatever device I'm holding.
That's right. And along with that comes kind of information overload. So while we bring all these hotel options to travelers, they don't want to see all their options. They want us to kind of smartly select which ones are most relevant or which ones we think they would prefer, so that they're not sifting through hundreds of options. So that's another area where technology is creating more demands, but we're meeting those challenges and we're improving upon them every day.
Natasha, as a grand storyteller, as a communicator, whether it be online, in paper, over the phone, obviously you're very articulate as well. Maybe we can turn the corner here and talk about the idea of people. And I know that you manage people and that you're an influencer of people all the time. One of the challenges that you and I have spoken about offline is this idea of a virtual work environment. As a great communicator, what are some tips you can give our listeners? Maybe some things that you've used or you've had used on you working in a virtual team, for instance.
Yeah, that's a great question, Chica. I've been in this virtual work environment for maybe 1.5 years, maybe close to 2 years, and I've learned a lot. It's definitely a big change from going to an office every day. The meetings it's essential to make sure you set up a meeting to be productive. You have to have that agenda. I feel like that's been so helpful to me, to make sure everyone goes into a call knowing what they're going to get out of it in the next 30 minutes or an hour. One thing that Bailey Labani on my team, she's actually taught me, and I've appreciated it because I think she learned it through the challenge program, is doing video conferencing. I feel like that's a great way to build that relationship and stay connected and into that conversation that's happening in the moment.
I think that's a really good point, Natasha, and we all love Bailey, and I think that it's ironic that you speak of video chats and video conferencing, and you and I are both doing it via audio right now. I think that's very ironic. But Natasha, in the work world that you're running right now, is there anything special that you're working on that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Oh, yeah. I think one project that's pretty big for the product marketing team right now is our client console that we're getting ready to launch and bring to our customers. So it'll be one place where our customers now can log in to access their account information, but also have discussions with peers in chat groups, and also stay up to date on our different BCD news, our product news, or even industry trends. So that's very exciting for us. We're trying to get to accelerate in that kind of digital world, and I think bringing this place for our clients to interact digitally with BCD is really exciting.
And that's really important for all of us to think that we're consolidating and bringing places to the one-stop shop, if you will. Are you fragmented right now? I mean, where does all of your stuff live right now while you're bringing it together?
Right now, we lean a lot on email communication. So we use Pardot to target our customers directly, but we're not always 100% sure we're getting everybody in our email list. We invite our clients to webinars, so we share information that way as well. And I know the global marketing team has the Move Art blogs and the Move newsletters. So it is kind of scattered, and they're all effective channels, but it'll be nice to have one place where they can get all this information.
Good form. Well, Natasha, we're running up against time right now, and I want to honor all of our listeners for being here, as well as your team and your work that you're doing. So with your permission, I'd love to include all of your details in the show notes should we have questions, and people can reach out to you directly. Is that cool?
That sounds great.
And as we love to wrap up our podcast with 5 random questions coming down the tube to you that you'll do your best to answer as quickly as possible. You ready to go?
Bring it on.
All right. Question number 1. On a scale of 1 to 10, Natasha, how good are you at trivia?
4, not very good at all.
That's fine. Question number 2. If you could push a button that would make everybody in the world 7% happier, would you push it?
Ooh, yes.
I'm loving that you had to think about making people happy there. That's brilliant. And
What's the return for? Yeah.
yeah. Well, I guess we could make up. But what if it meant that it would ban hairstyle products?
Yes, I overthink everything, so that's what was going on in my head.
Okay, you're good. Question number 3: high heels or sneakers?
Sneakers.
She's
Goes along with the work from home. That's changed recently. Going with sneakers.
Favorite band at the moment?
Burroot.
Wait, how do I spell that?
Beirut.
Very good. We can look that up on Spotify, and if you're on there listening to the podcast, good for you. And my favorite question to end all podcasts: what do you love about working at BCD?
I love the people. I think we have some really talented folks within the company, and love talking to them every day.
And we've loved talking to you, Natasha. Thank you so much for giving us your time, and we look forward to seeing what the product marketing department is going to lead us into the future with.
Thanks for having me, Chica. This has been fun.
And to all of